Hola amigos, I am the Watcher, and today I got a really special episode of Team America for you, starring the one and only Wolf, also known as El Lobo. But before we get into that, I do have a few trigger warnings today. This is a pretty upbeat kids comic, but it does deal with a few things that could be kind of triggering to some people. Most notably crimes against children involving kidnapping, abduction, even murder. As well as there's another part later on where there's a threat of a whole group of kids dying. So if that's the kind of stuff you're sensitive to, I totally understand if you want to skip this episode. As always, I invite you back next week when I'm going to be doing The Crusaders number 5, Chaos. I don't know what's going to happen in that one, but I gotta tell you, it looks pretty wacky. Hopefully it doesn't continue their trend of just killing kids. This is the first time really I can think of many people dying in here, and it was a child. Very shocking. Well, not shocking, just kind of different from the tone they've been setting up so far. We'll go with that. But I don't want to eat up any more of your time with unnecessary banter. That's for the end of the video. For now, let's get to the story. Okay, welcome to the main segment. Let's start by examining the art. Of course, you have what looks like Wolf with Reedy in the background, kind of speeding up behind him. And then purple-colored, generic background character. This issue, Wolf alone dares to confront the arcade assassins. And I'm going to spoil this for you right now. I wouldn't really call them assassins. More slavers. You know, they kind of work people to death. So I guess you could call that assassination. I don't know. They're not really assassins. I also want to say, maybe I should have put in a trigger warning about slavery in this one. Because, I mean, the children are technically enslaved, I guess. I don't know. You'll see it when we get there. The back has this really cool ad. Mega Force. Never heard of these guys. They got some sand rails. Which, I didn't even know they had sand rails back then. They have some weird looking, I don't know, it looks like they took a BMW and wanted to make it look futuristic. They have this, I think there's a tire coming out of it. I don't know what kind of vehicle that is. I thought it was like a hover tank at first, but I don't know what's got going on. Maybe that's not a tire. Maybe that's something hanging off of this guy's holster. I don't know. Hard to tell once again. So you join, it costs $1 and you get an official Megaforce patch, a Megaforce membership card, and a reflective bike decal. I can just imagine this is them trying to market more off their G.I. Joe success with something similar to that. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it also looks really generic. The one thing I like about it is the coloring. The oranges with the blues, and then that lighting right there, like, kind of has a Snake Plissken vibe to it. Like if Snake took just the chest piece off a Darth Vader costume and said, "I'm ready." Okay, so you open it up and you have another Cracker Jack ad. And I'm not really going to bother to read this one to you. So what's happening is these kids are pretty much arguing over players. And they're all players who were retired by the time this came out. And then this guy comes up. Some guy named Hank Aaron. Never heard of him. I guess he played baseball. And he slams one out of the park. And the kids are like, "Oh my God, it's Hank Aaron." And then it's this thing. I guess there's some sort of... They had some thing where they got retired baseball people and they had them have a baseball game, and it was kind of like, oh, what's that stuff your uncle does? You know, the football thing? It's not flag football. Oh, fantasy football. Yeah, it's like fantasy football. They don't really say what you can win, but it says you can win something. Not as good as the other Cracker Jack ads, honestly. It wasn't even entertaining enough. I felt I needed to read it. So it starts off in this arcade. It's called Magic Light. And these kids are going crazy. It's top of the line. It's like some really realistic graphics for their day. I gotta tell you, it looks like a game of Asteroids. So then you cut to this kid. His name's Carlos. Carlos Montoya. He's 14. And I guess his parents used to fight about the father being unemployed, and he's projecting a bit. So he ran away from home because all he can think about is his mom yelling, "Don't come home till you get a job." So being a kid, he goes to an arcade. Because, you know, they'll let you just, it wasn't like today. You could just be an unattended child and loiter in places all day. People didn't care. You know, now a kid's unattended for a few minutes, people get weirded out. You don't even see children that much anymore. So this kid ran away. I mean, keep in mind, it implies like he just ran away, but he's cold and hungry. And he's like, I could spend quarters on food, or I could spend quarters here. Don't really show him play anything, though. He just waits till the air kids shuffle out, and he goes take a nap. These two guys come in. They look pretty shady. A good night, Gritch? They're all good, Barnes. All right, time to tend to the animals. You got the keys, and he throws the keys at him. So animals, what is he talking about? So he goes over, he opens up the machine, and there's this girl in here. So pretty much they have these kidnapped children that they're plugging into the arcade machines. And I guess the helmet, it's a neural link device, kind of like that thing Mr. Mind had in the last episode. And it completely suppresses, well, everything. It just turns them into a doll. It's a bit like the Matrix. You remember the Matrix? How they were just asleep in the pods? And they give them a bunch of vitamins and pills just to keep them alive and running the machine. So the video games are pretty much generated off these people's synapses, which is why they look so realistic and are ahead of all the other video games. Then you turn the page, and there's another one of these ads for the Dungeons and Dragons. Now, you may remember in the last 2 episodes, the stories actually lined up, and the werewolf fight. And I thought, does this line up with the last one with them being in the mountains? And I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you because it's just a bunch of crap happens that seems disconnected in every panel. So see, they're like, evil forces are at work here. And this guy's carrying this chick and he's like, she was hurt. We gotta act quickly. So they teleport and then they're at a castle. It's like, does the quest end here? You want to see more? And no, like honestly, you lost me at the werewolf battle. This is just getting worse. Like, who is she? Why should I care if she's hurt? How did she get hurt? You skip over all the good stuff. See, here they are explaining and feeding her the pills like a baby bird. And they go over and they plop this kid out and he flops on the ground. He's dead. It even says so. Like, in case you're just thinking he's passed out, it specifically says right here, Carlos has never seen anyone dead before. Involuntarily, he begins to cry. A little dirty on his face there. So yeah, no, they don't have any mystery to it, any ambiguity. It's like, that kid's dead. You know what's at stake. This kid is freaking dead. Yeah, I just noticed. I didn't know this was the first time reading it. It's the black kid, of course. The black guy gets killed first. You know, when I was a kid in the 90s, I mean, that's always a stereotype in media, but I noticed, like, from early 2000s on, a lot of times he'll be like the third death in the show. If there's a black guy that's going to die in the horror movie. Because it'll be like 2 sluts at the end or something. Or an old man and his dog. But then the group of the young college kids shows up. And they'll have black friend, and black friend disappears first. At least that's how a lot of them play out when I watch them. And so they hear him sobbing in the corner. I guess they didn't see him when they threw the body down. They really threw it too, because it's over there. And they go and they find a kid, and they're like, "Oh, this is perfect. We'll just hook him up to the machine." And it even goes into here. The same helmet removed from the head of the dead boy is now placed on Carlos's head. His struggles cease. So yeah, he just goes limp. And then they flip the out of order sign over. And they just go at it. Really pay attention to these arcade machines too. Some of them are cool. Like this alien, it reminds me of a Monster Girl from Invincible. Monster Girl's like probably one of my favorite characters on there. Yeah, so they abduct the kid. And it's like the next day on the outskirts of town, Team America is breaking speed records. And I want to point out these bikes here. They're kind of inconsistent silhouettes. Like that one looks, hold on. This one looks consistent with what we've seen. But that one kind of looks like a lowrider, like Easy Rider, but then where's the engine? It's like a lowrider scooter. It's like some of that stuff you see out of Japan. And then that is just like a bicycle frame. I don't know, they really struggled to inconsistently draw the bikes there. And you notice the details really go down in the bikes from the first one. Like, it's just a lot of muddy mess. They kind of get them out to where they don't have to do a bunch of detail, just do some shine. And for a book where its whole gimmick is bikes, you know, maybe you should pick something that's easier to draw. If you didn't want to draw 5 bikes, I get it. A little redundant. You already had Ghost Rider. If it was annoying then, why'd you think I'm going to put 5 of them in there? That's just the good guys. The bad guys have bikes too. Well, anyway, so this little guy, he sneaks past security. He's like, Senior Wolf, I gotta talk to you. And he's like, you know me, eh? Ricardo Vasquez? He's like, then you remember me, senor. He's like, from the neighborhood, yes. Si, senor. Rina Montoya sent me with a message for you. Her brother Carlos is missing. And Wolf, he doesn't say anything to anyone. He just jumps on his bike and takes off. And you know what? That is why Wolf is probably my favorite character in here. El Lobo, the wolf, as he says it every time. Because the no-nonsense attitude. He hears a kid's in trouble. He just jumps. He's going to go. He's going to punch someone. But it's also funny later on, this like jump to it attitude. Because he ends up doing a lot of waiting in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to read this here because it sets it up. Without a word to his teammates, Wolf leaps onto his bike. He's like, you need help, Wolf? The sullen cyclist departs. It's like, whoop. And a short while later, guns his bike along the shattered streets of El Barrio. And yes, they call it El Barrio, and I don't know if they're using it as the accepted slang term or if that's literally what they name the town. And there's this group of what looks like multi-ethnic bikers here. Oye, amigo Maria, look who's home. So they kind of remember him, I guess, but they also act like they don't know him. He's like, hey, pretty bike. And that jumpsuit, Dios mío. Por favor, señor, can you tell me, are you Captain America? No, imposible. He is one of Team America. He's like, I am called Wolf. And you, Manuel Ovidos, leader of the Silent Stalkers, will guard my bike with your life. Like, he just knows everyone. Like, he knows everyone in the barrio. He's like, huh? Tú es loco. Sure, Señor Wolf. With my life. He's just like, you watch my shit. And the guy's so intimidated, he does it. And he's definitely not gonna try something. So soon, inside the apartment building. So he goes and he talks to him. And the woman feels guilty. She feels like she did something, even though she didn't even directly yell at him. And he's promising her that he's going to get her back. And she tells him, you were always a good boy. And he replies, I was never a good boy, Senora. But I will look for your Niño. It looks like they redid Niño there. You see how it's kind of like... I think I see some blotching too. Like they whited out or something. I don't know. I know a lot of times myself, when I have a word mess up in the middle, I use really thick paper. And I will cut it with a scalpel. And then re-ink it. So he goes back out to his bike, which is a different color now. His chest piece is kind of colored wrong too. You'll notice a lot of inconsistencies with the coloring and also the design throughout this. So they wait till he comes out and now they start asking him, hey, you leaving? Don't we get nothing for watching your bike? What would you like, stalker? A ride maybe? No one rides my bike but me, which I get it. You know, it's like your girlfriend. You want to let someone kiss your girlfriend? I mean, some people like that, but not me. He's like, why are you afraid? We'll dirty your pretty little saddle. And they pull out some chains. I like this, like they wait till he takes off so they can drive around him and like try to ambush him. And how do you think he's going to solve them ambushing him with chains? He pops such a sick wheelie and burnout that they all just kind of fall off their bikes like the Three Stooges. Like, whoa! He's like, vroom. You get this badass panel right here. And he's just like, see, come and get me, stalkers, if you can. And that's the thing, is he's not running because he's afraid. It's like a macho thing. Like, you have to be able to be better at the bike to catch him. He starts riding after the guy he had watch his bike. Which I guess that guy took off like he set up an ambush for him. But there's no bike built that can outdistance a rider like El Lobo. And he knocks him off his bike. He like veers into him. He's like, now, stalker, I would ask you a question. A boy is missing, Carlos Montoya. I have been away from El Barrio for a long time, and no longer know where such a boy would go. He's like, the magic light, Senior Wolf. And he's like, eh? A video arcade at the amusement park. And he's like, take me there. So, yeah, you know, what was it? This issue, Wolf alone dares to confront the arcade assassins. And I told you they're not really assassins. They're more like child smugglers. Yeah, he's not really alone either. He takes this little guy with him the whole time, and they hang out. They have like a whole day together. And there's some implications. Swallowing hard, the leader of the Silent Stalkers does as he is told. I didn't even line that up with there's some implications, like right there. And I know these guys, they purposely wrote dirty jokes like that in these things to see what they could get away with. So you can't say I'm putting on. He's like, I know this place, but the video arcade is new and closed. But it will reopen in the morning. We will wait. Kind of drawn weird there, so it goes from that to this. Wait they do, and eventually day comes to Pleasureland. And this guy's like, Madre de Dios, we sat here all night. He's like, the arcade is open. So I imagine they went from this to just sitting there and not saying anything till the morning for that guy to then complain. Like he just sat there silently with him all night waiting. So they go in to stalk the arcade. They kind of snuff the guy with the change there. But he's already got coins, you know, he's got that reward money. Which, he's got that jumpsuit. I guess it has like a little coin pouch or something. Doesn't really look like it has anywhere for him to carry anything. So the guy's trying to get him to play some games with him. No, try one. You'll see what they say is true. The games at Magic Light are almost alive. So you think these are going to be realistic-ass graphics, right? Wolf drops a quarter of his winnings into the game slot. He plays. The beams of light simulate super cycles, anticipating his every move. And it looks like freaking Galaga, bro. Yeah, keep in mind when this came out, though, that was cutting edge. But, like, even in their fantasy, they couldn't make it look... Like, they had to make it look like video games they would understand back then. Like, they couldn't show them, like, Skyrim, you know? Like, if they showed something that looked that realistic, they would, maybe not understood it. It would have also been harder to get that detail that small. He's like, you're right, Stalker. That game was almost alive. And you open and you have an ad. You got this Ghost Rider here. This weird looking Spider-Man. I can't tell you what's going on there. Cool thing. This one really stood out to me. This Terminator looking guy. I'm wondering, did he have like the skin on and he ripped that off and he's holding that guy up? Is he keeping that guy from that chick? I'd like to know. You have a Bubba Yum ad. I gotta tell you, when I was a kid it had a duck on it and then it became the punk duck. I like the punk duck more than these kids. I mean, like, just look at this group of goobers. 1982, Lifesavers Inc. I never knew Lifesavers owned them. He's like, yeah, kids are drawn to it like sugar. And this random chick comes up, can I borrow a quarter, mister, to play the magic light? He's like, I see what you mean, stalker. So she goes up and these guys just immediately start talking to her because she's alone. You here with your folks, girly? Heck no. They'd never bring me to a place like this. So this kind of shows actually what they do, like how they target children. She's like, so I came alone. You gonna let me in or ain't you? It's like, sure. In fact, if you want to earn a few bucks, you can stay and sweep up after we close. But I'll have to go home. No, I won't. I'll stay, she quickly. He's like flies like sugar. Have you seen enough? Can we go now? He's like, no, we wait. So they sit there on the bench. I'm assuming they're implying because they sat on the bench. They do all right all through the day. He's like, I don't think I'll ever sit down again. He's like, the magic lights his clothing. So, you know, a little more implications. The one earlier was kind of more. But it's like, yeah, they've literally just sat here for 24 hours. It's like a mission in Fallout, you know, you get somewhere and you just wait. With the girl still inside, and they're closing the shutters. They probably offered her a job. If she's a runaway, she'll need money. Carlos Montoya would have needed money too. So they go, And they're like, this guy's like, what's with all this security? Who are they expecting to break in? And Wolf tells him, maybe they're afraid someone will try to break out. And he goes, and he actually calls for help. He calls Reedy there, or Tex, or he calls the guy whose name I constantly forget. And then it's right here, he's hanging up the phone, being all macho. Wolf has never asked for help in his life, not even from his friends. He hangs up the phone. The magic light is waiting. So he asks for help, but he still goes in alone. He's like, I ain't gonna wait. He's like, where have you been? There's a car pulling up. An expensive car. He's like, I know those guys. They're the mob. This guy's like, bring the calculator. Devin's a top mob accountant. What's he want with a small change outfit like magic lights? He looks like Van Helsing a bit. Round glasses, red brim hat. Little mustache. He has some comic book cells, which you can barely read this. Because it's degraded so much. One that stood out to me, though, was Devil Dinosaur, because I just got that one. So, you know, they're shaking hands, they're going in. And then Lobo starts pounding on the door. He's like, I'm looking for a young girl. She came in here earlier. She did not come out. And they're like, who are you, her father? And he's just like, I said I'm looking for a young girl. She ain't here. She swept up, I gave her $5, she left. He's like, I did not see her leave, amigo. He's just staring him down. And he's like, she went out the back way. Go see for yourself. And they go in the back room. Stalker, there's something you should know. There's no rear exit from the magic light. They just wished for us to turn our backs. Any moment now, they will fall on us from behind. And they do. They're all punching him with brass knuckles. Just boom. Both of them right in the face. Hey, he moved. I barely grazed him. You two get a big one. And, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I guess, why are you hitting yourself? Oh, you know what? This guy, he started choking on a quarter, and he's giving him the Heimlich. He's like, hey, those little guys can be tough too, amigo. I guess he's small, so he's trying to overpower him, and he's just, like, tussling him. They fight us, Stalker, because they have something to hide. Well, that's obvious, dude. And as he's beating the shit out of these people, he knocks them into the machine. Yeah. One of the video machines opens. Carlos! As the guy slams into it, the girl falls out. And they see her brainwashed on the ground. They said the machines at the magic light were almost alive. He comes to realization and then swook, suck. Sometimes it just doesn't pay to think. And they're being tied up, they're knocked out. Oh man, how do you think they're going to get out of this one? I gotta tell you. Edge of the seat excitement. Got some more ads here. Got this cool looking one for Monster Blood. Professor Prank's Lab. He looks like a zany old man. More Kung Fu ads. Poems. I didn't see that one before. Wanted for musical setting and recording by America's largest song studio. That's weird. Oh, this one's pretty cool. Mr. Wings Aviation Club. Yeah, this really cool one for Hercules. Which I'm just going to read this. Greetings, Terrans. Babyface Bob Lanton here. Editor-in-Chief Jim Shooter asked me to explain to you what the new Hercules series that I'm writing and drawing is all about. Do you remember all the neat stuff that's been done in the past with Ragnarok? The war amongst the gods? Fighting at the side of Marvel's greatest champions? Well, that isn't in this series. What it does contains a starship, alien worlds, love, death, and a tour of the best saloons in the galaxy. I guarantee you, it's a Hercules you've never seen before. We recently previewed Hercules, the Prince of Power, on the planet Cyrus, H. And they ate it up. All we can say is 30 million radioactive mutants can't be wrong. It's a winner. So I love how they're like, hey, you like this? Yeah, that's not in there. It's still pretty cool. I mean, it looks badass, you know? Like, if that was a poster, I'd put it on my wall. I'd put it by my lava lamp. They have them here. And these guys are like, well, shit, we gotta beat town now. And their plan is to put all the kids on this roller coaster here. And they put on this clown head, and I guess the cigar on the clown head is full of plastic explosive. And at some point, I guess the motion of the roller coaster will set it off, and it'll blow up all the kids. It says it'll blow up the whole ride. And so you think these guys are going to get out of here, right? If you're trying to cover up a crime, you definitely wouldn't set off an explosion and sit around. But they go back to the arcade and leave this trap going. Very villain-esque. So it's going, and they're like, but before the thugs can make a move, what's that sound? What's making that sound? That's right, it's Marauder. He's riding up the roller coaster. He's riding up behind the coaster, and he pops a wheelie and jumps over them. And then Carlos wakes up. And he's like, the clown, senor. As I was waking up, I heard them say there was something inside the clown. And Marauder, he just gives it a little smack. And it falls off directly on the arcade, and that's the thing, like, yeah, you think they get away or something, or they want the machine still. They said they wanted the machine still. It's literally right next to the roller coaster. They're going to blow up the whole roller coaster next to it. Like, even if your plan worked, these guys are just stupid. And I'm like, they must have stole this stuff, because they are stupid. And so the arcade's on fire, and this guy's like, my machines, and their guy's like, my money. And they're trying to save them. Look at them, they're in there scrambling, save our investment. Guys are stupid. And then Lobo comes riding in on his bike. His true power, he should have never let him get back with his motorcycle. He's like, look, somebody's racing towards us through the flames. Don't really show how he gets untied or anything. They should have put him on the roller coaster. Like the wild beast after whom he is named, Wolf strikes savagely and without mercy. Just riding in with a fire extinguisher, running people over. And yeah, he beats the shit out of these people, the arcade assassins who are not assassins. I mean, if they were assassins, they would have probably had a better plan than setting their own stuff on fire and panicking. So this guy, he's got a fire extinguisher. He's trying to spray him with it. But Lobo, he just rides up behind him and picks him up by the collar. Like Andre the Giant picking up a little person. And just tosses him. He's like, there are no fires hot enough to burn the evil out of the likes of you. And he throws him in the arcade. Soon the police have taken away the proprietors of the magic light. Then this rider on the black bike saved us all, Senior Wolf? Marauder. He rode like you, El Lobo. He's like, Wolf, wish I got here sooner. So there's Reedy. You know, they get at each other a lot. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier. So they were having a dialogue at the beginning, where Reedy's like, when are we going to get paid? And he's like, you know, he makes some joke about sending the money back to his dad so he could pay him back the money so he can feel like his own man. And Wolf says, if he'll take it back. So Reedy, he's just like, what's that supposed to mean? And Wolf's reply is essentially, you need to ask him. He's the one that disowned you, not me. So like, they're ripping each other, but they're actually friends. And he shows up. Wolf, I wish I'd gotten here sooner. Are you sure you were not here sooner, Reedy? Huh? What's that mean? Nothing. Nothing at all. And that's the end. We got a little team talk here. Just more kids being like, I thought the first two were cool. I want to know who Marauder is. Got this cool, I think that's Spider-Girl. Spider-Woman. So I found out something about Spider-Woman and She-Hulk recently. Apparently the whole reason Marvel made them was after they made the Incredible Hulk TV series. They didn't want people rebranding their stuff and just putting woman after it, so they created the characters so other people couldn't create them. You have this guy here. Hi, I'm Babyface Bob Latin, in case you're wondering what he looked like. I'm a writer and artist. Most people know me from my stint as the inker from Iron Man. I'm here because lately on this page, Big Jim has made some inflammatory comments about me. No big deal. We are old friends, after all, and I can take a joke. but I want to make it perfectly clear that I have no association with or interest in any nuclear terrorist organizations. Also, even though I did once live near the 3 Mile Island, I am definitely not a radioactive mutant. All clear? Well, good night all. And then it goes black and he's all freaking lit up and he's like, crap. Oh, he says drat. So, like, yeah, definitely a lot of filler in the back of these books. Like, the last 6 pages is just filler. More cool pinups. Like, I really like this one. I mean, the colors aren't that wowing, but just the dynamic action of the scene. And this one, I mean, I kind of want to like this one, but why has Tex got those come fuck me eyes? Like, I want to put that one up on my wall. Like, calm down, Tex. Got the Captain Prize again. Oh, these really cool military build-up in America. And it's pretty much models, really good quality plane models. I mean, they look sick. They look actual die-cast, not like the cheapy ones. But that is the beauty of this issue of Team America. Well, wasn't that just a roller coaster of entertainment? I gotta tell you, out of all the Team America stories so far, I think this one's my favorite. You know, I don't know, it's got everything. You know, it's gimmicky, it's weird, it's got some sort of over-elaborate sci-fi technology that if it existed, they wouldn't be using it in the kind of penny dime operation they're using it in. It's got that Saturday morning cartoony vibe. You open it up, you read it, you feel satisfied with what's in there and entertained. The only thing that really stood out to me, other than that, from the other issues, is just the pervasiveness of the ads. They seem to be getting worse. Or maybe it's just how they're breaking them up. There's a lot more filler in the books. Like, you can already tell they're starting to not favor it at this point in its development history. I did really enjoy the self-referencing with the Captain America thing. I mean, you know, I'm sure a lot of you, if your brain's like mine, you can relate to that. You love stuff that's intermingled. Like, when I was a kid, I grew up watching Dragon Ball, and I loved how you actually seen these characters grow up, and their lives change, and their relationships to each other. So anytime there's a media franchise like this, where the characters are self-referencing towards each other, and the stories tie into each other, and events in them tie into things that happened in the other one's comics, oh man, bread and butter right here. It's my bread and butter right here. As for the age-old question, can they beat Captain Planet? No. I'm going to look at Wolf by himself. No. Maybe they could all get in trouble and Marauder would show up and they still would not beat Captain Planet. Do not think that's going to happen by the end of their series. I'm going to say that now. In fact, I would go so far to say, even with Captain America on the team, I doubt they could beat Captain Planet. If anything, Captain America would probably have an easier time facing Captain Planet without them there. I love when an episode's like this. It's just straight about the book. I don't get sidetracked in some bullcrap or remembering something or going off on some long tangent in the middle of it. I'm really enjoying having this channel, especially now that I got my room finished. You may have seen in one of my previous videos, it was part of the Making the Captain America Stuff series. You know, my subscriber base is slowly growing and my views and likes are growing. So hopefully I'll be able to keep that up and I'll be here for you reading comics for a long time. Well, as always, I've been the Watcher. Until next time, stay safe and remember, life is about growth. You don't have to be bogged down by the person you used to be.